Hi, this is John Ondo from Marketing Media and Cupcakes. And before we get into today's episode, I just want to say thank you so much for listening. We're back after being gone for over 4.5 years. And I hope you get a chance to listen to episode 77, where we explain why we were gone for so long and that we're back for at least 3 more episodes. Angel and I are big supporters of entrepreneurship, and we love small businesses and faith-based businesses. And we just want to encourage you through our podcast each week. What's going to determine if we continue with more episodes will be the response. Subscribe to us on your platform. Send us an email at john@ondomedia.com. That would help us know you're listening and you want more episodes. So thank you so much, and let's get into today's episode. For those of you who are like me and you're sitting there and it's like, our business is growing. We're being smart. We're not just going crazy buying like gold-plated toilet seats or something. But yet at the end of the year, we seem to be more in debt than what we were when we started, and we're making more money. So we're successful, yet at the same time more in debt. And so if you are in that situation, you need to listen to this, because I hope this will give you some insight on how to possibly, it's not going to fix it, but you can steer the ship in the right direction.
This is the small business podcast that is sweeter than all the rest. Marketing, media, and cupcakes.
Welcome to episode 20 of Marketing, Media, and Cupcakes. I'm John, along with my beautiful wife, Angel.
Hi there.
And we are just a podcast that's full of wonderful information for small businesses and growing businesses and emerging businesses, because I have my own media production company called Ondo Media, and Angel has a regular full-time job as a customer service professional, and she has a cupcake business, hence why we are Marketing, Media, and Cupcakes. So today, we're going to talk about something that I think a lot of people immediately will want to stick their head in the fan when I say what our topic is today. Our topic today is going to be finances and accounting.
Whee!
As I stick my head in the fan. Angel, so today we're going to talk about how Angel saved my life with my finances, and basically crushed my world by making me understand that I was not making, and still am not making, any money.
Hey, this is supposed to be a positive podcast.
Well, you have to, but it has to be truthful too at the same time. So
this is true. You make money; it just doesn't stay around for very long.
Well, it doesn't, and that's the nature of our business, and maybe the nature of yours. Angel specializes in custom cakes and cupcakes. And so you were having this discussion with this lady who has a fabulous idea for a cake for her mom.
Yes.
And you were discussing fondant. And she basically said, as a lot of people may have said, what is fondant?
Yeah. It is, fondant is something that you see. It is that smooth, luxurious surface that you see on a lot of beautifully decorated professional cakes, a lot of wedding cakes and a lot of things. But when you see that beautiful, smooth, like it looks like, I can't describe it. It's pure.
Let me describe it in guy construction terms. You have like a drywall or sheetrock if you're in the East Coast, and it has a nice smooth appearance. That's fondant. Now, if you have a ceiling that has these little swirls and stuff in it, that's like, they call that a knockdown ceiling. That's your typical cake that has the whatever you call it with the swirly things in it.
That's been probably hand iced versus. Yes, so I think that's a very good way to describe it.
So if your cake looks like it's been drywalled, it's probably fondant, and if it looks like a knockdown ceiling, it's probably been iced.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for the male point of view.
Yes.
But if you were curious about what fondant is, because that was her concern, like what is it? And all it is, I mean, you can buy it. You can buy it in every color of the rainbow, or you can make it.
It's like on a shelf. It's not like it goes bad or something, is it?
It is 100% sugar.
That is so weird.
It is sugar, and it will dry out before it goes bad. So the biggest thing with fondant, so really what it is, and the reason I don't look at the box if I buy it, but if I make it, which I can, it's literally marshmallows melted with a little bit of corn syrup, and you then add powdered sugar and whatever flavoring if you choose to. Usually you don't add a flavoring, and that is it. And you knead it until it's like Play-Doh.
So it's not so if I got that amazing jar of marshmallow cream.
Yes, I could use that.
Really?
I could use marshmallow cream. I would just have to put it in the microwave and warm it up a little bit to make it take or accept the powdered sugar that I'm
But
going to
it
add
does
to
dry on the cake a little bit, doesn't it? Or
It can dry out. That is
Yeah.
one of the things with fondant, and which is what I was doing on the cake I just made.
So you want to
this
put the cake
evening.
in your cigar humidor while it's sitting.
Well, it depends on what you're doing. So if you have a structure like the cupcakes I'm going to be working on later, I need the wings of a butterfly to stand up. So I need them to be
course.
rigid. So I need them to dry. Whereas something else, whereas the covering of the item I'm doing, I need it to be malleable. So I need it to not be dry.
We're getting into big words here.
Oh, I said
I'm-
malleable. I'm so sorry.
Well, I mean, what's interesting and what I find fascinating, being somebody who really I can only work with computer keyboards and a few instruments like lighting and cameras, but to watch my wife sculpture like Da Vinci with a cake and a thing, and I see so many of you, and we have so many great folks that we follow on Instagram and they follow us, and Blue Velvet Cupcakes, I think she's out of Florida, and she does amazing stuff, and I'm like, these are artists, this is amazing. It's like I don't do anything. You guys have this cool thing, except that your cakes all get eaten, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, but your art stays around forever.
Yeah, it's just not this. It doesn't taste like that though.
But
so
some people, so back to fondant. So again, that's all it is. It's pure sugar. It's a beautiful thing, and you can buy it in the store or you can make it. And it's not the same as gum paste, but we'll talk about gum paste another day.
Okay.
But it is something that you can use to create things, shape things, cover things. And it is, some people are fond of fondant.
Fondant of fondant.
And
Very
some
nice.
are not.
So one thing I'm fond of is making money. And let me give you a quick background of how Angel has changed my life. And we're going to get into something we're calling it virtual accounting. Because this is a technique that Angel uses to help our finances, and we're going to share it with you.
It's a method of budgeting whereby you create fictitious accounts and you put money into them so that when the time comes for the bill to be paid,
it's there.
The money is there.
So I had credit card debt primarily for my business, and I was doing my accounting in and so forth. But at the end of the year, it was basically, I'm more in debt now than I was last year. And I don't understand, because each year I was making anywhere from 20 to 25% more income. Ondo Media has always grown every year, but yet at the end of the day, I'd look at it and say, we're more in debt. How did this happen? So it was Angel who began to really wrap her head around this and began to show me through this virtual accounting kind of concept that she has, that how it could straighten this out.
I don't have all the, I don't look at P&L sheets and profit and loss statements, which is what P&L means, in case you didn't know, and things like that. And yes, I've taken accounting classes multiple times to get my degree at Ohio State.
That had to be exciting.
Oh, kill me. I got what I needed to get out. But somehow I have ended up in this thing with budgets. And I've been a treasurer before for different organizations, and somehow I just always end up with this budget thing. So I quietly, and over several years, quietly started trying to get the reins from John, and he finally acquiesced after a couple of years and gave me full control, which I don't think is a bad thing. It's just somebody has to be paying attention to the details, because it's the little things that will creep up on you, because I had it to happen to me. So basically what you have to have, again, we'll just break it down to simple budgeting 101, and you can apply this to your business or to your personal life. But it's the, what do I have? What are my expenses? And these are what I call the have to pays. So these are you don't have an option. You've got to pay the mortgage. You've got to pay, the electric and your cell phone and
insurance
and rent, whatever it is. And so those
and
taxes. Yes. Uncle Sam needs to get his as well. So you kind of, create a list, and it's literally every little thing. So what I set up, as we call it, I set up these little virtual accounts. And these virtual accounts...
And this is something you can do in any program.
Yeah, and you can do it in Excel. You don't even have to do it...
Do it on paper if you want to.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to do it. But what it is you basically are tricking yourself into believing that you have no money. And I know that sounds silly, but it's really... So you sit there and you're like, well, I have $5,200 in the bank. I have money. Well, not really. Because that money is allocated to insurance, mortgage, this, phone. I mean, it's literally, it's allocated out.
So your counsel is, and we'll get a little bit more of the details, is take your eyes off of your bank account balances and start using your accounting program, or whatever you want to call it. You
Sure.
can do it on a piece of paper if you had to,
Mhm.
but run, it's like navigation in an airplane. And if people know me, I have a drone, but I love aeronautics and airplanes, and I'm always fascinated on how pilots can fly planes in the middle of a cloud and know exactly where they are. And that's kind of like what we're doing here. You have to have the ability to look at that your financial navigation by using that accounting program. Don't use the bank program because it's lying to you, because that money could be it's been spent.
Exactly.
So what Angel has done is, by using this virtual account, is basically been able to say, John, this is what your real expenses is. And I'll be honest, it was double what I had thought it was.
Yeah.
Once I really figured in the amount of debt I had and needed to be paid off, and we set a goal. We wanted to be out of debt in 5 years or something like that.
Yep.
So once she set that budget up, it's a different world. Now it does freak you out. You're sitting back going, I have to make this much money. And this is the key thing, all of us have to ask in business, is when that client, God bless them, look at you and say, oh my gosh, it's going to cost me that much for a video production or that much for a cake. Yes, it does, because I have expenses. I have a business to run, and I can't give you your $15,000 project for $2,000 because it's going to cost me $10,000. So it's really important when you're trying to figure out how much you want to charge your clients, because you have to know what your expenses are.
Yes. So if you have something that is due once every 6 months, you save 1/6 of that every month for it, so that when the time comes, you basically just wipe out that balance in your little virtual account and you write the check. There's no, oh crap, how am I going to pay for that because now I don't have the money. You have the money, and I account, so to the nth degree, I account for everything. Now, way back when, we accounted for down to our dog. Our dog had an account. We put
Sure.
$20 a month, or $50 a month in her account, and that went for her food, her vet bills. So we basically kind of just did an average. We said, okay, on average per year, she costs us X number of dollars. So we would save X number of dollars for her. I have a hair care account. I still have a hair care account. So because it costs so much for me to go get my hair done.
So again, you're thinking of this like little mason jars that have little Post-it stickers on it.
Exactly. Make sure that your income is higher than your outgo. And whatever the difference is, whatever that dollar amount difference is, so let's just say, for simplicity, your expenses are $4,500 a month and you're bringing in $5,000, you have a $500 variance. Well, where should that variance go? Where should that $500 go? Well, I used to have an account, I don't have it anymore, called miscellaneous. Now you can call it emergency, you can call it whatever you want. But that money went there, and I literally would just every month that amount just would go over there. And I again have my program set to just automatically move that money.
And let me jump in, because this is where I think a lot of people like me would have said, well, okay, that $500, well, I can pay off my credit. I could pay credit cards off with that. Well,
but that should have been part of your.
That should have already been part of the thing.
Should have been part of it.
If you wanted to, you could say, I'm going to give myself a $500 bonus.
Yes.
Or if there is additional debt, I could put that as an additional payment to get that paid down more.
Yep.
But you shouldn't be thinking your debt needs to be part of your budget.
Everything, every little thing.
When you get your credit card statement and it says your minimum balance is $83 to a $5,000 debt, $83 is not what you should be paying on your on that. You're not paying off your credit card you're paying off just the interest. The principal is going to be there, and this is what so many people unfortunately get trapped in this. You end up never paying off the principal of your card, and that's when you sit back and go, why am I still in debt? And that's because you haven't been paying off the principal. So when you make this calculation, and this is where I think a lot of people make the mistake when they think, oh, okay, my business is making money. Are you paying off the credit card debt? Well, yeah, I am, but really you're not. You've got to figure that, the minimum payment is $83, but really to take that capital down and to pay it off in 5 years, which is reasonable, you need to pay $350 a month, and you're only making $83. So
And you need to not put anything else on the card. So
yeah, exactly.
That's the big. I mean, John and I love, and I'm a huge same as cash girl. We do that all the time.
I don't look at same as cash as anything like a credit card in my world.
That is but again, that's an expense. So it's like, okay, I've decided I'm going to buy a new Mac, and I divide that, go to, no offense, Apple, and I go to Best Buy, and I buy it on 18 months, same as cash, and okay, it's divided by two.
Well, I bought
18.
your Mac on a Barclay card.
Okay.
That gave me 18 months, same as cash.
So you divide it out, and you have to make that payment.
Yeah, and we got a I had to buy a new drone last week.
Yep.
$1,700. We're doing an 18 months, same as cash on that, so it's all budgeted out. Now, I don't like that. I don't like the fact that I had to do that, but it will figure it out and we'll budget for it. So it will be gone in 1 year. We have to kind of wake up always in small business to the reality that there's a way to make money, and to make money, you've got to know how much you're spending.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a good friend of mine, a pastor and an entrepreneur, who said, nobody's ever become a millionaire by cutting coupons.
Yes.
And that's true. You saving 25 cents on bread isn't going to make you a millionaire someday. What's going to make you a millionaire is figure out ways and processes that you can make money overnight.
Mm-hmm. More money.
Not casinos and things like that, but there's ways that you can make your money. So my suggestion is, if you are not making money, it's not that you certainly should look at your expenses. If you're driving a Ferrari, you may want to think about selling it. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But the bigger question is, if you're driving a modest car, if you're doing a modest income, the problem probably isn't your expenses. It's probably you're not charging enough. And if you feel like, well, I can't charge more money, I'm just going to go back to what a friend of mine said year one of Ondo Media. He said, John, you're an idiot. You're charging a third of what you should be charging for somebody with your experience. He says, raise your rates. The clients will be there and you'll be fine.
I mean, and that's my take on everything. Know where the money's going. So
show me the money.
So it's basically, you have to 100% know what your outgo is and what your hopeful income is every month, and then you must save accordingly. And like you said, you can't go by what your bank says you have.
Yes.
You have to go by what your tracker of choice says that you have.
FreshBooks or Quicken or QuickBooks or whatever you use.
Whatever, or if it's just a pen and paper and an Excel spreadsheet, and
it might take a couple of months.
It takes you some time to get into that, because
I know you
have
looked at
to
me
have money
and said, "What's this $50 charge?" Well, that's my subscription that I have to have for Adobe or something. I'm like,
so it took me a few months to get every single little thing that he had, because asking John, so what are all your expenses? Well, I got this and I got this and I kind of got this, and it took a few months to get them all, because like I said, in this type of media, what he does in media, all these things are almost virtual. So they're not tangible, and it's hard to nail them down.
Just came out of my account in different days of the week, and she wouldn't know.
But if you know your rent, then that's that.
And you do have to count everything.
Everything.
Because at the end of the day, you want to make money. So I hope this is helpful. And I know finances is not the most sexy thing in the world to talk about.
No, but we're going to have some guests coming up soon.
But making money is sexy.
Yes, it is.
And I think we are not, by any means, you're not seeing us drive around in Ferraris or anything like that. But I can tell you, Ondo Media will be in the black in 3.5 years or so. Mm-hmm. And you might say, well, what does that mean? Well, for the money we do bring in a year, having all that debt gone is going to be a game changer.
Yeah. Well, I would have to say, I mean, in comparison to some, our debt is very minimal.
Very minimal.
Very minimal.
We went to the bank to say we consolidated a loan, and they looked at us and nearly laughed, like, that's all your debt?
They're like, oh, that's it? They're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, sure. Here you
go. But again, our profit margin is very tight, because it is a competitive world. So I wanted to make enough money to be comfortable. But this is how this works. So I hope this is helpful. And if you've got an idea, and this may not be the only way to do it, John at OndoMedia.com. We have some things on our description on the page. We also, I've put out on some of our social media, we're looking for guests. So if you do cupcakes, or if you've got a small business, if you've created a cure for cancer, we would love to have you on our podcast and talk about that, because we would love to find out more about what your business is doing, and not talk about ours all the time, because we just know there's a. I was talking to my friend who's going to be on our show here in a couple weeks, and I said, this is such an incredible time to be a small business owner. It's challenging. It's not fun, but it's challenging. But boy, what a time to create a business, because there is so much opportunity out there.
Yes.
And our podcast, funny and cute though it is really serious. We want you to live the dream and be successful. And live the American dream, which is having your own business, calling your own shots, and saying, I'm taking today off because I'm my own boss. And you can't put a price on that.
No.
So Angel's getting ready to go back upstairs and make some more cupcakes.
Yes, I am.
To live her dream. I'm going to go and edit this program now to live my dream. But whatever it is that's going on in your life, we pray and hope for the best for you, and we'll catch you next week on Marketing, Media, and Cupcakes.
Connect with John and Angel via Facebook and Instagram and let us know your thoughts. Marketing, Media, and Cupcakes is a production of Ondo Media.